everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Mia, and today we are going to be doing a slightly different video to usual. Usually I have like tutorials and chatty videos, but today we are actually going to be doing a palette review on this palette here. Now, in case you aren't aware already, this is the Plouise Love Tapes palette. This is their latest collection drop, and this is the palette. So it was my birthday last week, and my mum and dad kindly bought me this for my birthday, which I'm very, very happy about. And let's just say it's been very hard to not play with this already. I did do one look yesterday just so I could play around with a few shades before today to have a little idea of what we're working with, the wear time, all of that jazz. So it's not a first impressions, it's going to be a full review. So the aim is I'm going to try and use shades that I didn't use yesterday, and I'll give you a heads up on a few things, pros and cons, all that, just to see if this palette really is worth it. So stay till the end to find out if I approve of this item. Fingers crossed that I will, because I love Plouise in general. So I have high hopes for this basically. But I'm just going to be doing my eyebrows off camera, and then we will jump straight into it. So guys, just put my hair up, done my eyebrows. For my eyebrows today I used the Benefit Kabrow in shade 5 and carved them out and primed the lids using my Plouise base in shade 2 as usual. Just quickly tapping over the lids again to make sure there's no creases before applying the shadow. Finally, we get to dip into this palette. It is a very, very big palette, I must say. It's huge. So this is the colour selection here. As you can see, you've got two highlighters, a bronzy one over here and then a slightly paler one over here. And as you can see, the colour scheme is pinks and purples. It was the Valentine's Day collection, so kind of makes sense. Have a mirror here, and these are the colours. So there's 18 shades, 16 of them are matte and 2 of them are shimmers. This is their first ever shimmer formula, so be interested to see what that's like. Yesterday, I will insert a photo of the look I did yesterday, and I used a couple of the shades like Ego here, which is the darkest shade. I also used Orgasm, this pinky shade here, mixed with a little bit of Caress, and then I used Smitten. I'm feeling red today, so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to start off by going in with a nice little Morphe M506 brush, one of my favourites, and we're going into the shade Thirst, which is the deep red shade, and we're just going to pick up quite a bit of product and tap the excess off. And we're just going to be applying this in very small sections, very lightly. I feel like we're going to do a deep, rounded sort of look. That's what I'm feeling. So I'm just going to be building up the colour so that when you look forward you can see it, as I'm doing. And just slight, very tiny motions, and just bringing it round in a very, don't bring it too high up, you don't want it too high up, but we want it in a rounded shape. So once you get to the inner corner, you don't want it as dark, you just want to sort of bring it in like that, and just really build that colour up in the crease. So just keep going over that. Nicely rounded, very neat, and the colour payoff is pretty insane, I'm not gonna lie. Very happy with that. Now I'm going to once again be dipping into my Morphe M506 brush. Well, actually I'm going to be dipping into the Morphe Extract and Hell JH40 brush, but it's basically an M506 brush, they're very similar. And now I'm going to be going into the shade Screw, which is a deep toned red. And I'm just going to be applying that slightly over where we applied the other shade, using the exact same technique of just very little at a time. Always try and keep it as round as possible. And make sure the edges are really nice and soft. Now dipping into another Morphe 506 brush and going into the shade Taste, which is the bright red of the palette. And just feathering the very outer edges with this, just like that. And now finally going in with a natural hair brush. This is just a Kylie Jenner brush actually, and I'm going into the shade Smitten, which is that peachy sort of shade, and this is what I'm going to be blending out the edges with, just so it has something to blend into. This is really nice to blend out reds with. It's like the perfect sort of tone. Now what you want to do at this stage, it's looking very pink on camera at the moment, but in the person it's actually not. So now what you want to do is just go back in with all the shades in reverse. So I'm going into Taste now, which was the red shade we last used, and just rebuild this colour up. Then going into Screw, which is the slightly deeper red shade. And then finally going back in with the first N506 brush into the shade Urge and dip into a little bit of Ego. And just really re-deepening the crease. Now I know it's going to look crazy right now, but just trust the process, it will be fine. I'm just going back into Ego, which is the deepest shade, and I'm just going to try and create even more depth with that. And now we're going to be taking the shade Emotion, which is the shimmer shade, and I'm going to be taking that on my finger just because I know that things apply better. That's the shade so far, so we just, let's see. I'm just blending that shade into the top. It's quite a subtle shade, which I'm quite surprised at actually, how subtle it is. But it's very pretty. And it goes really well with this look. It's just very grungy. But now I'm going to be lining my eyes with the shade Ego, which was that dark purple. So just taking an angled brush and lining my eye with that, just like that. So that is pretty much the eye done. So now for the under eye, we're going to go in with the shade Ego and Thirst. So I'm then taking, of course, Screw and Taste, mixing them together to blend this out, just like that. And then of course going in with Smitten again, the peachy shade, just to blend all of that out. And then going back in with the shades just once again, one more time, just to re-intensify. And that is pretty much the eye done. So as you can see, pigment is unreal, and this is the palette after I've used it. So there is a little bit of fallout in case that bothers you, but it doesn't really bother me at the end of the day. If the eyeshadows work, they work. So I'm just going to do the other eye of camera now, and then I will come back at the end once my full face is done and give you my pros and cons and just all of that jazz. So I'll see you in a minute. So guys, as you can see, the eye look is now complete. Whole face is done, apart from the highlighter, which I thought I'd do on camera, seeing as it's out of this palette. Now I'm going to be taking the shade Once Upon a Time, which is of course the lighter shade. I'm just going to make swirling my brush in, and it looks like it's coating the brush very nicely. So we'll just see how this goes. Okay, so it's blinding. Does it have a cast? No, not really, but it's very pretty. Beautiful. Okay, so we'll love the highlighter. Then the inner corners, of course, going in with the same shade on a pencil brush. Really nice. Very, very happy with that. So this is the complete look. The eyes completely done, and they're looking amazing, by the way. Took me probably about 15 minutes to do my face, and no fading, no budging. The eyeshadows are still looking absolutely amazing. So just giving you my final thoughts now, really. Based upon yesterday's look that I did and today's, I very much like this palette, safe to say. All the shades are very pigmented. Yes, they do have a bit of fallout. Does that bother me? No, not personally, just because if they're good eyeshadows, I can roll with it. It's not the end of the world, is it? Wipe it away. I always do my eyes before foundation anyway, so you can afford to have fallout. Hence why I always do that. So I'd highly recommend doing eyes before foundation if you are using some of Plouise's eyeshadows, because they do have fallout. But again, it doesn't really bother me. The formula is amazing. It's got such a good blendability. The pigment is insane. To be honest, let me just swatch the other shimmer shade. So the one I used, Emotion, not gonna lie, it wasn't great. I mean, like, there is a little bit of shimmer on there, and when you wet the brush it looks so much better. But, you know, am I in love with it? Not really. So it's like, I'll give you a swatch here. That's me digging in. It looks really super pretty, and I mean, it's not supposed to be a glitter, is it? There it is swatched on my hand, and it is quite pigmented. Let's see, taken. Oh, you see, that's very pigmented. Let me just do another swatch here. I'm so bad at swatches, guys, I'm so sorry. Yeah, okay, so I think that's definitely the more pigmented one out of the two. I think that would apply better on the eye, so might have to give that a whirl. But, you know, I think maybe if you use a glitter glue underneath them, they'd work a lot better. Obviously, we've seen the highlighter is blinding, which I'm just going to swatch there for you. Just there, that's how shiny it is. It won't even show up on camera. I'm just going to go a quick swatch over the other highlighter shade, which is of course this golden one here. Just going to swatch. I appreciate that they have put 2 shades of highlighter in there. That's really nice from the body, I think. So all in all, I think it's really, really good. Obviously, it is a big palette. That's probably the only thing that puts me off. It's very hard to travel with, for one. For two, it takes up a lot of space, when I think it could have been packaged smaller. But then again, I do appreciate the packaging. I think it's absolutely beautiful. She has some of the best packaging around. But then again, it's the same sort of thing. Like, is it practical? Probably not. But is it beautiful? Yes, it is. So if you're willing to give up a little bit of space in your makeup room for this palette, definitely go ahead and do it. They've actually got a sale on, I believe, at the moment. I think they've still got a sale on. If not, well, I don't know. But if you go on some of the Plouise girls' Instagrams, they have 10% off code. So definitely use it on this. Highly recommend it, because I think it's an amazing palette. If you haven't really got, say you've got a lot of neutral palettes and, you know, the basic ones, but you've not got anything with a bit of colour, reds, pink tones, definitely get you some of these, because I just feel like these are some of the best coloured, like, pinky shades I've tried in a long time. Pinks and reds and purples are Purples are very hard to make, so well done to Plouise for making a really good deep purple. It's not patchy or anything, absolutely amazing. I used that yesterday more and it was amazing. Reds are another one where they're a bit of a funny one, but the reds have got a really good payoff, so very happy with that. And obviously pinks are slightly easy to blend with anyway, so slightly easier to make, I believe. But all in all, this palette is amazing. And considering there's 2 shades that are probably not my favourite, the shimmer shades, there's 18 shades in this palette and 2 highlighters. If you don't like the shimmer shades, it's not a big deal, is it? So I would buy it. Definitely approve this palette and would highly recommend it to anyone. Just want to let you know that on my lips today I'm wearing the Primark lip liner in Spice, blended all over my lips, topped with the Plouise Holla gloss. And then my lashes today are the Alero Buttercup London lashes, which are in the styled Paloma and Tamara stacked, so double lash today because I'm feeling dramatic and grungy. But yeah guys, this is the finished look. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please remember to like, subscribe and hit the bell to make sure you miss none of my future videos. I post every Wednesday and Sunday at 8:30 p.m, so be sure to tune in for that. But that is it for today guys. Just want to say one big last thank you for watching and I shall see you all in my next video. Bye guys.